Hello everybody and welcome to the sixth and the final video in our track building series. So just to recap where we're up to at this point, episode 1, we installed this tool that you see in front of us to be able to even start building tracks in the first place. Episode 2, we dealt with height maps, so jumps, corners, ruts, all that good stuff. In episode 3 was masking and textures to make your track look nice and pretty texturing wise. Number 4 was going through Blender and putting all of your objects and things like that around your track to really bring it to life and work on the environment. Episode number 5 was to do with timing gates, so getting all of your timing working, choosing where the start gates were, choosing where the pits were as well, where you spawn in. And now you should be finally to a point where you're happy with everything and you just want to go through those final little touches on your track, get it looking as professional as you can do before packaging it all up and submitting it for people to play. So we're going to do some final checks here. We've got our textures as we want them. You know, we've got norms if you desire to have norms in there. Everything's set up correctly. Your repetitions are correct. If you come along to materials, you have your soil type selected, whether you want it to be soil, soft soil. We go over to our scenes here. This is with all of our objects dropped in here under different layers, just because it was easier to dissect at the time. If we come along to surface area, I don't bother with stuff like this at all. I've not seen where it makes a difference for anything like that. So I've never added surface areas anywhere at all, nor do I know of any videos going through surface areas. Over to lighting and shadows, you've selected your sun positioning, you've selected like the detail of the shadows, etc. I usually leave these ones right here as default. That's a bit too fancy for me. The only one I ever usually change is how high up in the sky or how low down in the sky the sun usually is. Over to the background skies, this is our what we choose to get like the color and like the fog and the ambiance of the lighting all around. Dirt and graphic settings, this is just the color of the roasting game. Again, something that I leave stock. If you have a very different from normal colored dirt, for example, say if you're making some sort of like Mars map, you might want to make your dirt a bit more reddish, for example, or if you're doing some sort of blue alien space planet, you might want to make your roost blue. But I leave mine standard brown in there. Sounds is if you wanted to have any looping audio. So if you want commentators, fans cheering, you use a .wav file, then drop this in here for looping sounds. You can choose where on the track you want that sound to be played from. And then we come over to our track info, and this is where we finally make our last changes. So I've got stuff showed up in game real quick. I'll show you where everything is. So I can actually now rename everything here. So I'm going to go, because for my scenario, in game, I've got a certain way I like to name these. So I do UKX space, round space, number space, dash, Wembley. So I need to change this here. Firstly, it's misspelt, but this is where this will appear. So I need to do UKAX round. What round are we on? Round 3? Yeah, round 3. Aberdeen. There we go. And I will copy this and paste this in here. I cannot remember for 100% certainty where the short name appears. I don't know if it's when you're like selecting a setup in game or if it's what appears here, for example, in the server list. Whichever way it is, I usually leave it exactly the same from the normal name to the short name. Length you can find quite easily. So if we go over to our track editor and we load a TRH file that we worked on in the last episode, we'll wait for this to load real quick. Shouldn't hopefully take more than a second. We'll go to draw on wireframe to get this out. And you can see, so it's already got our stuff saved. And at the bottom here in white, it actually says our track length. So 393 is what we're going to enter in here, 393. Altitude, that is completely up to you. I mean, I guess I could go over to Google, for example, move this over here and type in Aberdeen let's do Aberdeen altitude. This is if you're doing a real track, for example, or a copy. 127 feet or 39 meters, and it is in meters. So I'll do 39 meters to get it as real to life as we can. Track image and track info. The track image is the image that will appear when you are hovering over your track here in testing, and the track info is when you load into your track and when you go into your garage, you'll see on the left hand side it will say somewhere about event info. That's where that picture will show up as well. Now I already have a little bit of a template made up for this picture here, which is going to follow something along the lines of this. So I'll do exactly the same thing here. I'll take a screenshot of my tracking game. I'll have my Arena Cross logo at the bottom, and I'll probably just put round 3 Aberdeen at the top, and we will save that in there. Now, for your picture, what you want to do when you are creating your Photoshop or GIMP document, whatever it is that you use, your canvas size again has to be a to the power of 2. So 1024, 2048, 4096, 8192, any of those, they are all viable. You don't need to go super crazy with the sizing on this. I didn't even realize that this was 4K before. I think I'm actually going to make a new one, which is a little bit on the smaller side. I will just do a 2048 by 2048, just like that. And then we go grab a screenshot in game and I'll make it look nice and pretty. And there you go. There is my copy of the preview picture for this. So we're just going to save a copy, and we can save it absolutely anywhere we want. I think just for the sake of locating it easier, I'm just going to put it back in this file as always. And I'm just going to call this preview. And it has to be saved as a TGA file, Targa file, that we've been using throughout this whole process. 32-bit, yes. And then also you're going to want to do a very similar thing. I've seen some people just take screenshots of this page here and then do exactly the same thing for the in-game picture. And I think it kind of gives you a good like overview of the whole track, if that makes sense. So I'm going to just do exactly the same thing here. I'm just going to stretch this out. This one has not got to be too fancy, you know, it's what is in the garage. Not many people even look at the page in general. So we're just going to stretch this out. Kind of want to hide the track length at the bottom, and it is literally as easy as doing something like that. So do file, save a copy. In the same file again, I'm just going to call this one track info, and save this one as a TJ file as well. 32-bit, yes. So now if we go over to our Resolute Kraken track builder, the track image is going to be the first that we've done, which is called preview. And again, it will ask us if we want to move it because it's currently in the wrong place. Yes. The second one will be the track info. Move it, yes. The designer will be your name. So for me, it is yours truly, Mr. Linz. And the location, if it's a custom track for you, you can make it up. For me, it is located in Aberdeen. And I always like putting the cloudy probability all the way down as low as it will go to 0.1. Reason being is if you run, I think it's realistic settings in game for like chances of rain, etc., that just increases the likelihood or decreases how often it will be rainy. And then you set your race type here. If you've done a supermoto or straight rhythm track, this is a normal track for me, so we're just going to select normal. And then I actually not entirely sure about this. Enter the name of your .paint files for testing and race modes. Paint files must be in track folder. Ignore it. I've never touched it. It's been fine for me. Photo, I believe, is when you go in game and there's a little button that kind of shows your bike on the stand. I'm pretty sure that whole feature is broken at the moment anyway, and the bike's handlebars are shown like round the wrong way. So again, something I leave. But by all means, feel free to experiment that with a little bit if you deem worthy. And then that is everything. That is everything with your track here. We're going to do one final build. So just make sure that you've got your scale all set. You've got your center lines set from your timing. Build with shadows, copy to mods and all. We'll do one quick last skim through, make sure everything is as you want it to be. And then we'll do our last little build all here. And we'll load it up in game for one final time. Make sure everything's as it should be. And then you're ready to go. And we're very happy with this. As you can see, the name is all correct. We've got our picture on the preview screen right here. And if we load it up in game as well, and I'll show you where to find the one in event info also. So in Garage, you come down to event info. No, you come to track info. There we go. And we've got our final picture here as well. So if people need to, they can see where, you know, the track actually is. They can't see timing gates and stuff, which is quite good. So that means that they can't cheat their way around. You can include that if you want to. I personally won't. We've got our track length and our track altitude here. I don't see anywhere what it actually is meant to say your name, so I'm not sure the point of that overall. But this little button down here, this is to do with that picture location earlier, which is in, go back to Resolute Kraken Track Builder, go on to Track Info. This is this down here, where you enter values and you see how far along the track it is, what height it is. However, as you can see, regardless of where this would be on the track, it is very, very boofed, and it has been for the longest time. So I wouldn't even concern yourself or worry about doing anything with that because nobody ever uses it. So now everything is all together, everything is all ready. So once you've done your final build, all the checks are done, you come back into Resolute Kraken's track builder right here. And then down at the very, very bottom, we have two options here. We've got Create PKZ and we've got Create PKZ Server. Now, if you, I would recommend doing both, obviously. So you need to download have a server version so people can put your track onto Deddy servers so you can actually play it online. However, this is the main one that you want to do, Create PKZ, and you'll press the button. It doesn't take too long for it to generate, and it will save it in your track file. All you have to do is your website of choice, whether it's Google Drive, if it's mega.nz, if it's Mediafire, it's completely up to you which website you want to use. So it is created, my PKZ here, and you can find it in your project folder, which for me is track building, tracks, Aberdeen, and then it's either in here or the next one. Here it is. So look for the file type PKZ. So this one is actually a lot smaller than my last one, so I think I optimized it a lot better. My last track for exactly the same size was about 700 megs. This is 310, so much better. So this is the file right here that you would go about uploading. This is also the file that you would go about putting in your own game afterwards. So let's say that I've uploaded it to whatever website, and then you can go to MXP Mods and go through the process of uploading it through there. It's very straightforward, so that does not need a tutorial at all. Once we've done that, I can just remove this from this folder, go to my game folders, and you can either keep this if you want to, or you can delete it. I plan on just fully deleting it, so I would just copy and paste it in here. I'd then delete my folder, and I'm good to go. And that is it, boys. From start to finish, you have now made your very first track in MX Bikes. I'm sure there was some hiccups and stuff along the way, but hopefully the tutorials, the last 6 videos, have got you to a point now where you know what you're doing. I still have to go back and refer to videos from time to time, so now that I've even made my own, I can come back and watch my own videos from time to time, because we don't just sit here all day every day making tracks. It's not ingrained into our head. It might be once every couple of months kind of thing for some of you. But either way, I hope you found this enjoyable. I thought it'd be nice just to have everything back in one place, and I'm very excited to see what tracks and creations you can all start working on and putting out for the community, and hopefully MXB Mods will start being up and running again sooner rather than later, so you can share them with everybody. So thank you very much for watching the series, and glad I finally got around to doing it. But back to business as normal now from the next video onwards. So have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you guys are doing, and well done again, because I know it's been a long process. Catch you in the next video. Peace.